You get that promotion you've been chasing for months. Double your salary overnight. You're finally going to fix all your money stress, right? 6 months later, you're lying awake at 3 in the morning, staring at your bank balance, wondering where all that extra money disappeared to. Sound familiar? I'm Dan, and in this video, we're diving into why earning more money almost never solves your financial problems and what actually does. Let me start with a story that might hit close to home. I know someone who went from making 30,000 a year to making six figures in just 2 years. Sounds like a dream, right? But here's the twist. They told me they felt more financially stressed at six figures than they ever did at 30,000. How is that even possible? The answer lies in something most people never talk about. We've been conditioned to believe that money problems are income problems. But what if that's completely backwards? What if your relationship with money matters more than the actual numbers in your bank account? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most financial stress isn't about not having enough money. It's about not having enough structure around the money you already have. And when you earn more without fixing that structure, you don't fix the problem, you amplify it. Think about it this way. If you have a leaky bucket, pouring more water into it doesn't fix the leak. It just wastes more water faster. Your finances work exactly the same way. Without plugging the structural holes, more income just means more money flowing out the bottom. Let's talk about something called money dysmorphia. You know body dysmorphia? Where someone looks in the mirror and sees something completely different from reality? Money dysmorphia is the same thing, but with your finances. You could have 20,000 in savings and still feel broke. Or you could be spending way beyond your means but convince yourself everything's fine because you make good money. This happens because we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, and social media makes it worse. Everyone's posting their highlight reel while you're living your behind-the-scenes reality. That distorts what normal spending looks like. Suddenly, expensive vacations or designer purchases feel necessary instead of optional. But here's where it gets really insidious. When you base spending decisions on emotions instead of actual numbers, you fall into lifestyle inflation quicksand. Every raise gets absorbed by slightly better versions of everything you already have. A better apartment, a better car, better clothes, better restaurants. Each upgrade seems reasonable on its own. You can afford it, right? But collectively, they lock you into a lifestyle that requires every dollar you make just to maintain. That's why people making 200,000 a year can feel just as stressed as someone making 50,000. This is the hidden trap that keeps high earners feeling broke. This is the point where most people assume the solution is earning more. And that's exactly where they get stuck. Your expenses rise to meet your income, no matter how high that income goes. It's like being on a financial treadmill. You're running faster and faster, but you never actually get anywhere. Here's a reality check. Think back to your first job. Maybe you were making close to minimum wage, and yet somehow you survived. You found ways to eat, have fun, and maybe even save a little. Now you might make 3 or 4 times that amount, but your lifestyle has expanded to consume every extra dollar. This is the hidden dynamic that keeps high earners stuck. So what does this look like in real life? Maybe you're making great money on paper but still living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you don't have an emergency fund because there's never anything left at the end of the month. Maybe you keep telling yourself you'll start investing seriously next year, but next year never comes. Or maybe you're constantly stressed about money despite earning more than most people ever will. You avoid checking your bank statements because ignorance feels better than confronting reality. You use spending as stress relief, but it only creates more stress later. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Surveys consistently show that people across all income levels report similar levels of financial anxiety. The problem isn't how much money you make. The problem is the system you're using to manage it. Here's the breakthrough insight. Money problems are behavior problems disguised as income problems. And behavior problems can't be solved by throwing more money at them. They're solved by changing the system. That's actually good news. It means you don't have to wait for your next raise or promotion to take control. You can start with the income you already have. But you need to approach it differently. Instead of asking, how can I make more money? Start asking, how can I make my money work better for me? That shift changes everything. The first step is getting brutally honest about your current situation. Not judgmental, just honest. Look at your bank statements from the last few months. Categorize where your money actually went, not where you thought it went. Most people are shocked by this. They discover hundreds of dollars going to takeout, subscriptions they forgot they had, or habits they underestimated. Awareness alone creates change, but awareness isn't enough. You need structure. And one of the most effective structures is paying yourself first. Instead of saving what's left after spending, you flip the order. You save first, then spend what remains. This isn't about deprivation. It's about making sure your future self gets paid before your present self spends impulsively. Automate your savings and investments as soon as you get paid. Make the decision once instead of every day. That's why this works. It removes constant decision-making. You're no longer negotiating with yourself over every purchase. You know what you can spend because the rest is already handled. There's another layer many high earners overlook. Higher income often means higher risk. If you lose a high-paying job, the financial fallout is much larger. That means bigger emergency funds, better insurance, and smarter planning matter more, not less. And taxes matter too. As income rises, efficiency becomes more important. Using retirement accounts, tax-advantaged investments, and smarter income structures can make a massive difference over time. Finally, you need to align your money with your actual goals, not your habits, not social pressure, your goals. What do you want your money to enable? Freedom, security, time, options? Without clear goals, money defaults to instant gratification. With clear goals, every decision becomes intentional. This is where many people get stuck. They have accountants managing taxes, but no system managing their life goals. No structure designed to build wealth instead of just handling expenses. That's the difference between earning a lot and actually building wealth. Wealth isn't about income. It's about what you keep, how you deploy it, and how well it supports the life you want. So here's the takeaway. Your financial problems probably aren't income problems. They're systems problems, and systems can be fixed at almost any income level. Start with honesty. Build structure that protects your future self. Align your money with what actually matters to you. The goal isn't to accumulate money for its own sake. The goal is financial freedom that supports a life you actually enjoy. Sometimes that means earning more, but more often it means optimizing what you already have. If this helped reframe how you think about money, consider subscribing. These videos aren't about motivation. They're about changing the conditions so thinking gets easier. And if part of your stress comes from constantly doing mental math, I've linked a free tool below that lays your money out on a calendar, so you don't have to hold it all in your head.